Good morning, dear students. This is Sampat Bhadu, Assistant Professor of English, Govt College, Sri Dungargarh, Bikaner. Today, we are going to take up the Seven Ages of Man, Part-2, in continuation to the yesterday's Part-1. Yesterday, we discussed the overall poem, The Seven Ages of Man, about William Shakespeare and, of course, English literature. What is literature? What's the role of literature in human life? How literature is useful for us, and why do we study English literature. We also talked in detail about William Shakespeare, who he was, and how important he is in terms of study of English literature. Today, we are going to take up the second part of the poem. So far, we have discussed four ages of man, starting with infancy, schoolboy, lover, and soldier. First was infant, second was schoolboy, third was lover, and fourth was a soldier. Today, we take up the fifth stage of human life, that is of a justice, means a judge. Let's take up the text. And then the justice, in fair round belly, with a good capon lined, with eyes severe, and beard of formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances, and so he plays his part. So, dear students, here every human being undergoes this stage of a justice. That is, around the age of 40, we all become justice, judge of our life, of our matters and affairs. Here, justice has been satirized in fair round belly. The justice is having a round belly with a good capon lined. Capon lined here means the meat of the cock that justice has eaten to his fill, the meat of the cock. Though this line is satirical, the justice has been satirized as the bribe taking. There were there was a time in Elizabethan period during William Shakespeare that all the judges, they were notorious for taking bribes, for delivering, for rendering the justice. Nobody could hope justice without giving bribes at that point of time. So, in the fifth stage, a man acts the part of a judge. He grows fat on the flesh of capon, means cock, which he receives as bribe. Here, the cocks were presented to the judges as gifts or as presents. He assumes a severe look, which seems to show a determination to do justice. And he assumes means he adopts a very severe look. Severe look means serious look, grave look, as though he was very much determined to do the justice. Although we know that he has taken the bribe, though we know that he has taken the bribe. Dear students, bribe means the unfair money, illegal money that someone takes to do something in lieu of that. He trims his beard in right civilian style just to distinguish himself from the soldier with his shaggy uncut beard. A justice trims his beard in a suitable manner and beard of formal cut. He has a formal cut of beard full of wise saws. Now he is full of wise maxims. Saws here means maxims or proverbs, sayings, which are taken out of some handbook and illustrating them, giving examples by commonplace stories and cases. Dear students, a justice has to study a lot in order to impart justice. He has to illustrate number of examples, number of cases for his decision. He is full of maxims and proverbs and sayings, full of allusions and illustrations and modern instances. And so he plays his part, and thus he plays his part, that is of a justice. The second last comes, the sixth is shifts, and so he plays his part. The sixth is shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon with his spectacles on nose and pouch on side, his youthful hose well saved, a world too wide for his shrunk shank, and his big manly voice turning again toward childish treble, pipes, and whistles in his sound. Now, dear students, what happens? After justice, a human being turns to be a pantaloon, means a human being now declines. This is the declining age, means human being starts becoming weak physically, mentally. His mental or physical erosion starts at this stage. He becomes feeble or weak. He becomes a comic figure. He becomes lean and lanky, wearing slippers, spectacles, and a pouch. The breeches of his earlier years, which he has carefully saved, seem much too big for his shrunken legs. Now, the breeches, the pyjamas, the skin hugging leggings or pyjamas that he wore, now they are unfit. They have become loose simply because his legs have become thin and lanky. So the breeches do not fit his legs and his legs have become shrunken, and his voice, formerly so deep, sonorous, and manly, the voice that used to be very profound and deep and sonorous and manly. Manly here means that shows power, that shows strength, energy, that has become or turned into a shrill, piping accents of a child. And now his voice appears to be just as a whistle. There is a whistle in his sound, means there is no clarity of sound simply because the energy has gone away. He has become physically and mentally weak. That's why his sound has also become feeble or weak. Thus, the old man looks like the pantaloon, the comic character of this stage. So this is the declining age. The sixth stage of pantaloon is also known as the age of downfall of the human life, of the human cycle of life. And last but not the least, last scene of all that ends this strange, eventful history is second childishness, and mere oblivion, sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything. Dear students, here William Shakespeare compares the old age to the second childhood, simply because if we see a child, a child is also, sans here means without. A child is also without teeth. Without eyes here means a child doesn't have that sense of perceiving the things through the sense of sight. Without taste, the child can't distinguish the tastes. Likewise, an old person also loses all these things. An old person, when the person is in 80s or 90s, he or she loses everything: teeth, eyes, taste, and everything. And there is mere oblivion. Oblivion here means forgetfulness. A human being is subject to forgetfulness. When a person is in 80s or 90s, starts forgetting everything, does not remember long, and life becomes tasteless, uninteresting, and monotonous. And human being eventually feels that. Now, he or she should pass away from this world because he loses his all the interests. As a matter of fact, due to the physical weakness, mental weakness, the family members also do not interact with the person much. The rest of the members, the young members especially, they don't like much to interact with the old ones, the aged ones. The aged ones, they feel aloof, they feel separated, they feel all alone, and they only wish that they should be taken away from this world. They should be lifted away from this world. And the rest of the members of the family also think that this old person must not interfere into their affairs or matters. And dear students, life is fruitless, life is meaningless, life is worthless while we lose all the interests in it. When we lose our teeth, our eyes, our taste, that means if we lose all our tastes, life becomes a burden. It becomes meaningless. Then we must desire for what? For the ultimate goal, for the ultimate, the last breath, that is your death. Let's have a recapitulation of all the seven S's. The poet here advocates that the whole world is a stage on which all men and women simply play their parts or roles. They're born and they die, just as players enter and have the stage. The life of a man is divided into many parts. So, dear students, we have discussed seven ages. Let's take up again. First one was infancy. Infant means baby. Number two, a schoolboy. Number three was the lover. Number four, a soldier. Number five, a justice. Number six, a pantaloon. And number seven, second childhood age or the old age. That's all for today and have a nice day. Thank you.